Hey, it's Bruno the Green Boater, and we are back with the summary of the Crushing Range Anxiety Tour that we just covered and also Aqua Lectric covered. And I am so happy that we have the captain as well as the CEO of Elvene Boats with us. Emil, thank you for joining us and just doing a summary of this cruise.
Hello, Bruno. I'm glad to be back.
I bet you are. Now, it's been a few days, so you've had a chance
Yeah.
to sort of reflect on everything, but let's go back to the beginning because you started this because you had a common question that was always coming at you. What was that question?
Well, everyone's always asking about range. How far can you go with the boat? That's always the first question. And now we wanted to answer that once and for all.
And did you think you did that? Because you did spend, 5 days and you traveled how many nautical miles? So did you crush it?
Well, yeah, we spent 5 days out at sea and we did 214.9 nautical miles according to the onboard GPS.
That's
So
fantastic.
I think that's an okay result for this time.
You had third-party validation. Tell us about the crew you had on board validating what you did.
Absolutely, this was a very big part of this trip because we had Justin Dalinger from Aqua Lectric with us. So he is the one who has documented everything and verified the data and made sure that I don't make up any numbers. It's actually real data we are presenting. So it was me and Justin for the majority of the time out on the water, and then we also had Björn from my team with us for a bit.
Well, I know Justin. I've met him and I've seen his work on his channel. He is very meticulous. He is
Oh,
an
yes.
experienced boater, and so he's not going to let anybody pull the wool over his eyes. And I'm sure he was fascinated to see how this would all work. What was some of the comments that he had made, first of all, in preparation, because this is the new experience for him, and then
Yeah.
also some of the things that he noticed that maybe surprised you?
Well, the one comment he made, it was the first day. Actually, two comments I really remember. When we were just finishing up the first day, he said, "This is the furthest I've ever traveled on an electric boat." And that was during day one. The second thing that a comment from him that I really liked as well was, he said, "This is like sailing, but without all the work. You can go against the wind, you can just go in that direction, you point the boat. But it's the same experience. It's really relaxed, it's silent, you're enjoying nature. But you can decide where you're going."
Well, what's exciting about what you did, and we'll cover some of the details in a minute, is that this also encourages anybody in this space that's producing electric vehicles for boats that this is possible. Now, your form factor is what it is. It's not designed to go 30 knots for 8 hours. It's designed to be completely off grid.
Yeah.
So I'm so appreciative that Justin got some great footage of your trip. It's just absolutely stunning. But also, as you were talking through, what you did each day with the battery levels and so on. So you started at 100%, and
Yeah.
then you were able to keep the boat running at a certain speed. Tell us a little bit about your average speed and what you covered in the first day.
Yeah. Our average speed was just below 5 knots. We were doing 4 point something in average. This was because of the weather. Our goal, actually our target was to keep it at 5 knots, but as you know, when you're out at sea, things happen, and we got a bit more wind and waves a couple of days than we were expecting. So that was the average speed. First day we did 55 nautical miles, if I remember correctly, and we used around 30% of battery then for that day. Actually, for the first 100 miles we used around, I can't remember the numbers exactly now, but we used more than 60% of the battery for the first half, and for the second half we used 30 something percent of the battery.
Okay.
So that also really shows that you need to follow the weather, you need to know where you're going and adapt to the conditions you're in, as with any boat, of course.
Yeah. Now, when you stopped the first night, I think the subsequent nights, you didn't plug in. You just pulled up.
No, no,
It
no,
was
no.
it was getting dark. You
Yeah.
had to, of course, find a place to stay, but you kept the boat away from any charging systems. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We didn't plug it in at any point during this trip. We used, it was 100% powered by the sun. That's also one reason why we stayed out in the archipelago, to really show that we are off grid. This isn't just, we don't go into a big marina and try to hide the charging cable, but we are actually off grid. And no, we didn't plug it in anywhere.
And Were there any modifications made to the boat to make sure that it did crush range anxiety, or was this stock?
No modifications at all. This was absolutely stock. It was even with one of the smaller battery packages that we offer. So we had 30 kilowatt hours of battery in the boat. That's it. We had the normal twin 10 kilowatt outboards that we have as our standard motors. These also are not the most efficient ones. We would have lower energy consumption if we would have gone with a single outboard. But now we had twin just because that's what we had on this boat, and we like to offer twin motors, so we wanted to show how it performs in the real world.
Sure. And even though you were going 4.5, 5 knots, the boat is capable of much more, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The boat we were using now, it can do around 15 knots as top speed, but we also have motor options, so you get it up to 25. The boat itself, or the hull design itself, has been tested up to 35 knots, but we are not offering motors for those speeds yet. So we think 25 is more than enough for this type of boat.
I saw the film, when I was interviewing each day, but also what Justin put together on Aqua Lectric, and you had beautiful weather, and sometimes
yes.
it's been overcast. Is that the kind of conditions that are ideal for you, or can the boat also perform under less than ideal conditions?
Actually, well, I have to be honest to say we had quite ideal conditions on several days of this trip. The best you can have, the absolutely best conditions you can have is, of course, clear skies, clear blue skies, a lot of sunshine, and as cool temperatures as possible. Because when the temperatures start rising, the efficiency of the solar panels drop. So actually, a lot of sun and cool temperatures, that's the ideal. So
Yeah, and no wind and waves would be ideal.
Yeah, exactly. No wind and waves. Yeah, yeah. No, so that's the case. So we had really good conditions in that sense. And if we would have stayed in more protected waters, been driving on flat waters, we could have gone faster and further. But we really just wanted to go out at sea for about half of the trip we spent out at sea, just to show that it's possible.
Yeah. Just as you sort of experienced it, let's go to the end. When you knew, because you had set out to say, we're going to go 200 nautical miles.
Yeah.
Was there any point you kind of went, we're in trouble, or were you confident, or what were some of your feelings coming up to that magical 200 nautical miles?
Everything was going great. The last day, once again, we had beautiful weather. So we just got up, jumped in the boat, and had planned a route. We needed about, I think it was 35 miles left. Of course, I had a trip planned for the next morning, so we had a deadline, which you should never have out at sea, but we had a deadline. So, but I thought 35 miles, perfect conditions, nothing can go wrong. So we just headed out for this, went for lunch, then we had like 10 miles left. When we started coming up to about 198 or something, I thought I better check this online tracker as well to make sure that that's following us and that everything is up to date. And that's when I realized that about 15 miles were missing from that one. So that got a bit interesting. But
So what do you do? Just drive around in circles until you got the mileage, or what?
well, yeah, more or less. First of all, I had to figure out, like, do we have a technical problem? Is this following us? Is it tracking us? And yes, it did. But I realized that it only updated our position once every minute. So the online tracker that we were streaming live, it updated our position every minute. And we had been going through these really narrow, tight canals where we were just going in zigzag motions. And then, of course, when it updated every minute, it did a lot of shortcuts. So we lost about 15 miles that way. But then we realized, like, with empty battery, we still had to do 15 more nautical miles. And that was, I would say, that was the best test of the boat and the best proof that this technology is actually working, because this was in the late afternoon, sun was already setting, but we went to a cafe, had a coffee, let the boat charge for a bit, and then we just did the last 15 miles in a slow speed.
Now, I do have to ask, you were out there to prove that this boat had this capability. It was something you designed years before you started the company. You were thinking about this type of experience. Is this what you would see as a normal condition for people who buy your boat? I mean, are you expecting your customers to go out and do this kind of thing, or is there their use of your boat somewhat different?
This, like I said, this is not a normal use case. Absolutely not. I'm not expecting our customers to do this. I hope someone will. I hope someone will go out and beat this and go further. But no, the normal use case, as with most boats, is that you drive a short distance. Either you do a day trip, so you just jump in your boat, take your picnic with you, drive out to some place, spend a day there and go back. Or you go out, go to your first destination, spend a night or two, and then continue. Yeah. So this is definitely not a normal use case. We were pushing the boat to the limits just to show that it's possible.
Yeah. So normally you would see somebody take the boat if they're going for a weekend. They would go somewhere, anchor or dock.
Yeah.
Solar panels are working all day. They'd swim around
Exactly.
stuff, and then the next day they leave. So your battery is mostly charged again.
Exactly. This is exactly the point. So in a normal use case, you would probably drive faster to get to the destination you're going, spend some time there to let the battery charge from the sun, and then just go back home or go to your next destination.
Yeah. What was it like life aboard and on a boat that size, 22 feet?
I have to say it was very relaxed. It was really relaxed and enjoyable because as we were moving at quite slow speeds, so you were just listening to the waves all the time. And I mean, having Justin on board was just fantastic. He's an extremely experienced captain. He knows his way around boats, so you immediately, I mean, everyone who's been boating for a while and have some experience, you notice immediately when someone steps on board, like, do they know how to behave on a boat? Can they operate a boat and so forth? And with Justin, there was no question about that. He's a fantastic captain, very experienced. And also on a personal level, I think we synced quite well. So it made life very easy and enjoyable on board.
Is there anything that you saw that you would like to enhance, or their features, or some additions to the boat that you maybe would make the boat a little bit better?
From a technical point of view, the boat performed exactly as expected, and here no major updates. I mean, as we all know, technology is improving all the time, so we already have like next generation solar panels on the way, and we have next generation batteries and motors and so forth. So that's nothing on that side. What was really fun and interesting was spending this much time on the board and starting to find these little details, like what if we moved that grab rail a little bit in that direction, and what if it was a bit higher so it would be more comfortable when you're standing in this position, and what if we had a cup holder there instead of there, and so forth. So it was much more these small details that just makes boating more comfortable. Those were the things that you started noticing when you spent like 12, 15 hours a day on the boat.
Isn't it nice that you don't have to go to somebody for approval to make those changes?
It really is. Just press play and it's done.
Now, I didn't prep you for this next question, but you've told me stories about your family and your daughter and her experiences. But
yeah,
did she have any questions about your cruise when you came back? She must have said, "Where were you, Dad?" Or did she have anything that she asked you about this cruise?
To be honest, for her, this was completely normal. It was just, yeah, Dad was gone for a couple of days. Yeah, he was out on his boat. Yeah, that's
no big
normal.
Deal.
Yeah, no big deal, exactly.
What's all the excitement about?
Yeah, exactly. It was really an anticlimax in that sense.
Well, I understand too from some of this, they were talking just when we came on air, that as a result of this, there are people that are really interested in your boat. And you really, as we labeled this, a cruise to crush range anxiety, you really did it. What are your next plans? What's the next big adventure for proving something on this boat? Have you got something lined up?
We have two planned, or let's say we have planned 2 trips that will be a lot longer than this one, going to different countries. We don't have a set timeline for this yet. We don't know when we will be able to do it, so don't want to tell too much. But I mean, 200 is not the limit. For this period of time, 200 miles was a suitable target. As we have said, you can just keep on going. If we would have had the time, we could just have kept on going.
Well, I so appreciate that you stand behind your product and that you're willing to take the risk and in bringing somebody like Justin along to validate, and that you were quite transparent even in our end of day sessions, live sessions. So, Emil, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing and in this category. You are one of the new executives that are looking at boating in a whole different way and providing us with technology and an experience that really is changing the way in which we think about boating. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Bruno. And of course, I stand behind my products. I want to, and trying to be transparent. I really try to show what it is so people know what they're getting if they're buying one of our boats. Not trying to sugarcoat it. We show it exactly as it is.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Emil.
Thank you, Bruno.
So this is the Green Boater. We have been in discussion with the CEO of Elvene Boats, Emil Finne, and just covering the summary of his crushing range anxiety cruise, where he went over 200 nautical miles without plugging in and without using any fuel. So I encourage you to look at the show notes for the links to the videos, as well as how you can get a hold of Emil and how you can check out his boats and the other boats he's got available. It's Bruno from the Green Boater. Thank you for joining us, and check out our channel for other videos about everything electric.